सर ये जो है एग्जीक्यूट executable programs हैं only they only start from C या all the programs
All
like
the programs that you will write
yeah.
as a programmer will start with Z or Y. That is only the allowed set of characters. Okay. Okay. Let's start with our presentation for data structures and then we'll come back to this. Okay. Let me just save this because the server might get hanged. Okay. Data structures in SAP. So in SAP, we have client specific and cross client customizations. Now, what is client specific? Over here, the client is this server. Okay, 100. This is specific to 100 that we are writing a program which is not available in any other server. So this is client specific. A client is a unit within SAP that is self-contained in terms of business organization and data. So all things in this client are reserved and limited to this server. Okay, a client is characterized by the fact that it has its own business data environment, its own master and transaction data, and its own user data. So if we talk about user data, for example, if you go to environment, not environment, settings, utilities, uh, settings, okay, source code, debugging user. Now, these are some settings that are by default. Um, by default, actually present in the system, and based on the user authorizations, you actually get these access. Now, debugging. Now, who can actually debug? The user, or you can debug it through another system, remote system, through RFC or through internet gateway. But the user will actually debug it. Okay. Pretty printer, convert uppercase, lowercase, uppercase keyword. Now, and any keyword you write in blue will be converted to uppercase. Okay. Editor, source codes, or text-based editor. You can actually check these, and these are client specific. Okay. Client is correct. It has its own user data. The data is in a client is known as client specific data. Okay. Now, this is basically, if you look at another transaction, SE11 is a transaction. We'll just have a look at that. SE11. Now, /n is new session. SE11 is the transaction. Enter. And Mara, MARA. This is the table. Client here is specific client. Okay. Display. Now, this is a database table. And we'll see what are the contents of this table. Okay. Transparent table, material data, which is it will have these fields in this table, and these many fields are there. So some fields basically are key fields, basically the key identifying fields, which is Matner, and Matner is material number, and client. Client is again this client, the server. Okay, so this material number will be reserved and positioned in this server. Okay, I hope this is clear. So we have these many fields: time of creation, name of person, maintenance status, material type, everything is basically stored in this data. Okay. So let's go and check TVARV. This is another table. Now this is table of variables in selection criteria. Okay, now selection criteria, whenever we are, for example, if I go to SC38 slash O means another window. Change. Okay, let's talk about this program first. Now, over here, we have the first line. This is where the parameters are being defined. Parameters get defined here with the keyword parameters, because parameters is basically a command that whatever will be written after this is a parameter based variable p name size 10, which will be of type C, character. Okay. And then write, give the output, the input was, which will be write justified. Okay. This is output. And then write p name. And okay, now slash over here means next line. And next line again. Write whatever is written in this parameter and write end after this. Okay. Check. Activate. Okay. Direct processing. P name. VAUSNET. Execute. The input was VAUSNET end. Because of the slashes, it was given in the next line. Okay, now if you look at it again, direct processing over here, selection criteria, table of variables and selection criteria. Now over here, if you see, this is just a plain text field. But if I give it instead of character of 10 matna, this is parameter get defined with type matna, material number. Now it will be different. Lengths are basically lengths are not required when you are actually taking up standard fields basically. Okay. Activate. On direct processing. Syntax error because of the size thing. Okay. So we'll actually change it. SC38. Although it was ignoring, but still it encountered an error. We'll redo it and remove the size thing. Continue. Okay. Type Matner. Activate. Direct processing. Now you see the length has actually increased because this is basically the feature of material number field. Okay. And over here you have this search. Now this search is basically, this is what is this table about. This table, TVARV. Selection criteria. We are selecting a material. Okay. We are selecting a material. We can select any. I'll just Matner, let's say 4, execute. The input was 4. It was not a material, but it still actually printed it. Okay. But it took the P name and actually produced the output. SCC1, SCC1 is locked. Okay, this is locked. SCC4. Now over here, we have this client 100, which is having a role of customizing, and we have different roles for a server: production, test, customizing, demo, training, reference. Okay, and the default currency is USD. Okay, and it was changed in this date. So basically, these are cross-client details. Okay. Now let's go back to SC11. We're just actually looking at. Now this is report source code. Whatever the source code you want to see will go to more environment, that data browser, table contents. It will copy the table name and execute. You will get the source code, all the programs that are available in SAP right now. I will double click any, okay, and it will get me all the details regarding the programs that we have, okay. And we can run this program in SE38 and see for ourselves, okay. So this is the repository of the source code, okay. We'll check this. You can actually check this later on. We'll go ahead. Repo, the central store for all ABAP objects. It is also cross-client. Repo objects are grouped together to form packages. So whatever we actually write in a program can be packaged in a repo object. Okay, packages are containers for semantically, logically linked development objects. Okay, so packages basically it's like a carton box where all your programs, logic, databases, tables, and variables, everything is packaged, and that becomes a repo object. Okay. Now, speaking of client, some data is client specific, some is cross client. Now, in cross client, we have configuration data for all the modules. In client specific, we have application data like screens, like orders, invoices. Client specific is company codes, plants, storage locations, and user authorization. And this is how an SAP system is basically, or landscape is basically laid out. Okay. Now we have 3-layer architecture in SAP. Okay. ABAP is basically the middleware where the application server, where all the logic, the configuration, the customizing, everything is happening over here. Okay. All applications in SAP are developed using ABAP. It's event driven. We will see what is events are triggered. Now, what are events is basically happening of a block or encountering a block, a coding block. You can see this in the advanced stages. Tools for developing, for modifying SAP is called the workbench. Okay, and this is basically included in the workbench: editor, data dictionary, screen painter, menu painter. We'll see all of this in advanced lecture. SC11, SC38, you have already seen that. A program consists of individual ABAP statements. Each statement begins with keyword and ends with a period. ABAP is not case sensitive. Okay, and repos are basically cross-client because these are packages. Now, packages are basically transported to other clients, to other servers. How? Through this transaction code that I'm going to show you. Okay. Over here, we have this screen, which is transport organizer, SE10 display. This is the user. Whatever this user has configured and customized will be shown over here. Okay. everything will be displayed over here, whatever is the configuration, and we can transport it. Okay, so packages are created by basis team. So whatever we are going to transport will be handled by the basis team. Okay, so this is what is basically a transport request. And in this, for example, we have so many nodes of configuration, and this can be transported. Let it just open and see. These are the nodes of configuration happening at so many levels, and we can go and we can release it or transport it. Okay, and this actually gets transported to the next server. Okay, VF03, this is billing document, and let's go to SE93. But let's first check VF03 first. This is our billing document. Okay, and what program is running at the back of this billing document? Let's see that through SE93. Transport code, the transaction code VF03. Display. This is display the billing document. This is the program. If I click it, double click, okay, now over here we have include programs. We'll see how to write include programs. And these are include programs. If I double click any of these, so it's getting me into another set of include programs. Okay, if I double click this over here, we have basically the logic. So basically it's quite interlinked, and we have tables and field names. Okay, and that is basically how your ABAP structure is developed. Although most of these transactions are auto and by default already set by SAP, we don't need to actually touch it, but we can actually go into the program and see the logic. So it's nothing to worry about if you can't understand what is going on in this code right now. It's not for understanding at this moment, because this is our third lecture and this is going to come in 16th, 17th lecture. Okay. So basically, this is the program that is dictating the front end billing document. Okay. This is the program, and this is basically supported for HTML, Java, and Windows. So, let's now write a new program. I'll just copy this, go to SC38. Come on. It's stuck. So let's do one thing. You actually write this program. I'll send it over to you, and we'll do it, and I'll see what you have done.